and I call the member for Barker.
I understand the reluctance to second this self-congratulatory motion. I mean, the member for Banks just accused me of not listening. I listened intently to his 5-minute dissertation, and what I heard and what people in the gallery, I'm sure, heard and what the people of Australia heard is Australians have never had it better. Well, if you believe that, you're talking to a different subset of Australians than me. Electricity prices through the roof. I want to talk about Medicare because in my community it's a real issue right now, but the member opposite also talked about a future made in Australia, and those of us on this side, he suggests, want to talk down manufacturing. We want to talk it up. It's those on the other side who want to close down Australian manufacturing, and if you don't believe that, go and talk to any smelter in Australia right now. Tomago might be the place you start, but it's not the place you finish. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm not here to address the member for Banks's comments, enthusiastic as he is to talk up the progress of the Albanese Labor government over the last 6 months, but I want to address the first point he makes. The government delivering, he says, on their election commitments, and the first proof point he points to is strengthening Medicare. I want to take him on a journey to my electorate. South-east South Australia contains the second largest city in South Australia, my hometown of Mount Gambier. On the 3rd of May 2025, Mount Gambier had an urgent care clinic. That urgent care clinic, Medicare urgent care clinic, was closed in June. Closed. I mean, it never met its obligated opening hours, never, extended hours that never were, but it literally closed in June. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, you'd think over the 6 months, if that had occurred, and given that the government proudly claims that it has strengthened Medicare over the course of the last 6 months, that it would have reopened. But I'm here to tell the member for Banks and all those opposite that it remains closed. Closed. Now, thankfully, those opposites have been able, in the 6 months since 5 months since the close, the 6 months in government, to issue a new tender for the urgent care clinic in Mount Gambier. But I'm told on the grapevine, quietly, despite the fact that the minister issued a press release celebrating the tender, that the facility won't be open till next year. So we're about 200 days right now where that facility's been closed. I mean, the weeds are up to here. I offered to go with my whippersnipper and tidy it up, but the offer wasn't accepted. 200 days to this point, but it'll be something more like 7 months before that facility reopens. Now, that would be bad enough. Bad enough. But right now, in South Australia's second largest city, the state that the minister relevant to this portfolio hails from, every single GP clinic in that community has issued a public statement that they're not able to accept any new patients. I had a constituent who contacted me recently. He's a patient of a particular clinic, but because his doctor has retired, he's no longer able to return to the clinic. Now, do I blame the clinics? Absolutely not. Do I put a call out to people living in that community to show respect to frontline staff of those clinics who are often the subject of rather terse conversations when they have to inform a person living in that community that, sorry, you can't see a doctor, you won't be able to see a GP, you'll have to drive 100 kilometres that way or 50 kilometres that way, or better still, travel to Adelaide. Do I put that call out? I do. But I'll tell you who I apportion the blame to. Minister Butler. Because one of his first actions, the member for Banks scoffs, but hear me out. One of his first actions as minister in 2022 was to change the distribution priority areas, meaning that a doctor who was obligated to work in an area of need like Mount Gambier in my electorate was no longer required to practice in Mount Gambier, could practice in Adelaide. And the member opposite scoffs. But can I tell you, on that day, I received 2 phone calls from the 2 largest clinics in Mount Gambier. You know what those phone calls said? Tony, we've just had a number of doctors resign en masse, and we won't be able to service the people of Mount Gambier. He's to blame.
Order. The member's